For the final temptation, the devil takes Jesus to the highest place to show as far as eyes can see. Looking at all things in all directions, the devil entices Jesus with everything in the world. All these can be yours if you worship me, says the devil. At every election time, we hear something similar. Vote for me, my party, and you will get a government that will give you what you want, says a politician. All job interviews nowadays are structured in a similar way. Every applicant is trying to tell the interviewer what value she brings to the job or company that has an opening. We are offering you a position if you're willing to serve our company's goals, says the company. In exchange, a job offer guarantees an income that can offer stability in life and an opportunity to advance to earn more. This temptation is far more pervasive than we are aware of in all aspects of our lives. Ministers choose congregations which will offer best opportunities to make them worthy, grow, and better. Congregations choose ministers who will lead them to the brighter, stronger, healthier, and more meaningful future. If you can think back to the beginning as to how we began the search process, you can recall that we asked the search committee to figure out what we wanted to be as a congregation in order to find the right minister who will make us be that church of our imagination. Our institutional needs were examined and put forward. We want to know what skills ministers bring so that we could pick the right person to address those in need. We said in our congregational profile. Jesus is being offered the world. Worship me and this will be yours, says the devil. Everything, the glory, power, authority, honor, fame, wealth, you name it. If Jesus desires it, the world can be his at the cost of bowing to the devil. Want to run the greatest power in the world? Want to be the richest to enjoy everything the world has to offer? Want to have the entire world at your feet? Want to have perpetual peace? Want to enjoy happiness? Want to be known as the best in loving and caring people? Want to solve everyone's problems? In the wider world, there are those who consider human beings as masters or owners of what the earth and everything within the earth's sphere contain. They claim the earth and all therein as properties. Everything can be exploited for the benefits of well-being of human species. In so imposing this notion of ownership over the creation, they have become ones who have full control over it. Most people in our world have chosen the way. They see the world as something they own and control. Our economic system encourages us to be that way too. We buy to own. The ownership gives us rights to do what we want to do with what we have up to a certain point. The devil's point is that a human being has an innate desire to control the world around herself and be its master. This primal want shows up in all kinds of situations. Look at a man who wants to provide generously for his family. Look at a woman who looks carefully at everything before she buys anything to make sure what she buys will fit right into what she has in mind. Look at a teenager who checks everything on the internet before ordering a video game and figures out how to play it to win. Look at a child who insists on playing with that particular toy. Look at us, how we entrust our search committee to pick just the right minister for our church. Why do we fuss over so much about whether our new minister will be good with children and wonderful when visiting the elderly? Why do we pay so much attention to how our church building looks? Why do we tell strangers how caring and welcoming we are? Why do we tell ourselves how wonderful it is that one of our own has made us proud in the world? Why do we seek that right minister in whom we will find who we are? Everything we do, even the most mundane things like planting flowers and making sure our parking lot is plowed, makes a statement to the world who we are. We have an image by which we project to the world that we are a church worthy of their attention and regard. We may not say out clearly or as articulately as we like, but we do know what kind of church we are deep in our hearts. We know we are not like other Christian churches in Fonthill. We are a small congregation where, as a family, we care for one another and enjoy each other. We have a very specific image in our mind how to be a Christian community. We show it by the way we maintain our properties, use them, and share with others. We are a very careful church when it comes to curating our image. Again, we may not be able to articulate it, but we know instinctively when something grates against us. This is why we are not comfortable with certain people and very comfortable with others. When someone totally new enters into our worship on Sunday morning, we can tell quickly whether that person is our type or not, enjoying what we are singing or not, and being able to be approached or not. We check the image that person projects as we project our own image. We may welcome everyone, but ultimately we know why some people will not stay with us no matter what we do. Some psychologists have done the experiments and told us that it takes 1/10 of a second to decide how we feel about someone. Taking longer means that we feel more confident about our judgments. That is all. Yes, 1/10 of a second is all it takes to get our first impressions on others based on appearance. Jesus was taken up to the highest peak and was told that all could be his, only if he would bow to the devil. He could have everything his way, only if he would let the devil receive his worship. A simple request that changes ownership. God created human beings and entrusted the creation to them. In this way, human beings were made stewards of God's creation. They were not given ownership. They were given stewardship. The devil, on the other hand, offers right out the ownership. One who owns can do anything and everything to the creation as one wishes. The devil comes and offers Christians, as he did to Christ, the world. If you worship me, says the devil, you can have the world and build and do with it as you wish. This temptation is as real to us as it is to many other Christians. What kind of church do we want to build? The devil can offer it to us. You worship me, says the devil, and I will not only send you a perfect minister with all the qualities you're looking for, but also all smarts and resources you need to be the best church you can be. All that can be yours if you simply worship me by going after what you want. Forget about that God who never answers your prayers, who lets you experience decline of younger membership, who always hangs you on that last few dollars to break even, and who keeps on telling you to think of others instead of the bright future you can have. Go after what you want, what you dream about, and what you can truly be. To resist this temptation, we need to look beyond our wants, desires, goals, and priorities, to ask ourselves some questions as to why we are called to be as a group of Christians congregating to worship at the Kirk on the Hill, and to remember our reasons for being. In our faith world, we are challenged to think differently by Jesus based on what Jesus did in response to this temptation. We are to reject the notion of owning the world, God's creation, the way the world offers, and shaping it according to our wish or image. Instead, we are to make it clear to the world that we are here to choose God to worship. We are not to follow our desires, wants, goals, and means. We are not here to imprint the world with our image. Rather, we are here to serve God and others as stewards of the creation. Though tempting it is, living faithfully is not the same thing as building a faith community of our theology, culture, and image. To worship God is to deny ourselves of all that we desire, want, wish, claim, and build in order to patiently discern God's will so that God's creation would flourish. It is to live life where we are continually being changed by our encounters with God's Word as we deal with people around us, doing our best to share God's love with everyone by being open to give and receive love, even from strangers and outcasts, and denying ourselves, including everything we hold dear, in order to take up our cross to follow Jesus. Unlike the worldly ways where people are divided, judged, and condemned for least infractions due to human frailties, we build a faith community with God's Word that forgives, heals, embraces, restores, and reconciles by worshiping God alone. Practically, it means that we reorient our sight and get ready for a new chapter in our church's future. We learn to give up not only our ways of doing things, controlling our tasks and responsibilities, and our way of being, but also being attuned to God's ways and being willing to be changed by God in all things that we do as members, volunteers, friends, and as staff.